Hey, this is Jake with Avi-on. Let's talk about configuring an occupancy sensor. Select the navigation icon in the top left and choose Controllers. Let's talk about controllers before we move on. Now you could say we have control of each light, so there are controllers in every light fixture. You wouldn't be wrong with that statement. In the Avi-on environment, we call the hardware in each light a device. A controller is a piece of hardware that controls a device. For example, a wall station or an occupancy sensor can control a device. A controller can turn on a single light or a group of lights. To add an occupancy sensor, select the plus icon. Select the sensor and hit Add. Once added, you will see text at the bottom of the screen stating, "Updating your controller settings, please wait." The app is asking the sensor for all of its settings. The sensor we are using is a passive infrared or PIR that also has ambient light sensing or ALS. Let us rename this sensor. This sensor is very intelligent and, as you can see, has a lot of settings. None of these settings can be changed until it is associated. Association is the way we connect the sensor to a light or a group of lights. Select Tap to associate. We are going to choose Groups and select the group we want the sensor to control. Then select Save. Now we are allowed to change the settings. You see the top 4 settings, but first, let's change the level and timing. The one called Motion Event Level is the light level the light will go to when the sensor is triggered or occupancy is sensed. Simply select it and change the level. The next one is the amount of time the light will stay on. The standby level is the light level the light will go to after the first time delay. It will stay at this level until the time delay 2 expires. With the current settings, when the sensor is triggered, the light will turn on to 80%, then wait 10 minutes and go to 25%, then wait 5 minutes and turn off. Anytime the sensor is triggered, the timers will reset. But what if this is during business hours? Do you want the lights to turn off? Probably not. This intelligent sensor has a setting called MS mode. We can change the way this sensor acts. There are multiple modes we can set it to. Let me explain the most commonly used. The default is standard mode. This mode will turn the light on, and after 2 delays, it will turn the light off. Endless mode. This mode will turn the light on, and after the first timer expires, the light will step down to the standby level. It will stay on the standby level with an endless timer and never turn off. Another highly used mode is the last dimming on. A use case for this is a personal office. The user has a wall station and they have the lights set to 35%. They walk out of the room, the light turns off. When they come back in the room, the sensor is triggered and the lights go back to the previous level of 35%. The rest of these settings and what they do can be found in our documentation. What if we want the sensor to be in endless mode during the day and standard mode at night? This brings us to a setting called Behaviors. We want this sensor to behave differently at different times of the day. Let's see how this works. Select Behavior. Add a new behavior. We want the sensor at 8 a.m. to be in endless mode, and at 8 p.m. to be in standard mode. Select Save. We now have one behavior set up. The lights will only dim during the day and not turn off, and at night will turn off. Let's say the office lights do not turn on until the user gets into the middle of the room, or maybe the lights turn on when someone walks by the door. Most sensors you have to change a setting on the physical device. Not with ours. It can be changed right here on this page. There are other settings on this page that we have not talked about. Ambient light sensing or ALS mode. This particular sensor has ALS built in, and we can enable it or disable it and fine-tune it. The documentation will further explain these settings. And that's how easy it is to configure an occupancy sensor.